ever considered a detox, but wonder if it's safe, effective, where to begin? Yes, there's so much information out there. If you've ever done a Google search on like how to detox, I mean, everything comes up in every which way. So it's very, very confusing. So today we kind of want to weed through it all and focus on the main points of how to really detox in a healthy way. So we're really going to cover how the body detoxes, because we are detoxers, why we need to detox, how to avoid detox diets and just detox naturally, maybe give ourselves a little support. And then our newest product, LIVEGOOD's chlorella and zeolite detox. So we'll go over all of that towards the end. So always how we do these, if you have questions, please write them in, because we will address them all at the end. We also love comments.
Yep.
So if you have a comment, leave it. If you're your first timer here, you can put number 1 to the comments. Welcome. We love having you guys, and all of our repeat viewers. Love having you guys here. Thank you for always joining and supporting us. We love your feedback and your constant support. So make sure you like, subscribe to our channel. That way you don't miss any of these, and you can continue to look back at the old ones, and you'll never miss a new one, because we do these weekly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump in.
Okay, awesome. So how the body detoxes. Like I said, we're detoxers. The body is constantly detoxing all the time. There's several organ systems that partake in our detoxing: liver, kidney, skin, digestive system. I mean, each one has a specific detox process.
Yeah, and shocker, as we age, they're less efficient.
Yes, as is everything.
Yeah, sucks.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately. So the biggest thing is, like, we want to break down these toxins, bind these toxins, and excrete the toxins in our sweat, urine, and feces. So that is also why you always hear, like, to detox sweat, sweat, sweat. Very important.
Don't forget about breath too. Breath's got some really important stuff.
True. Yes.
Talk about it.
So what?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about some of the breathing techniques and things you can do. I'm just saying, like, breath in addition to urine, feces, sweat.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just basically it. Again, our bodies are natural detoxers. Our organ systems are designed to detox. There are 3 different pathways. We're not going to go into detail there, but the biggest thing is again, our body breaking down those toxins, binding of the toxins, so then it can be eliminated, excreted. And that happens if our body is healthy and functioning properly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and can I go on a tangent?
Go.
So I didn't even make a note, and I totally forgot about this, but we're like, so much of what detoxing begins with enzymes and enzyme pathways. So what you were just about to say, like, giving our bodies the things that it needs to be able to manufacture enzymes. As the same kind of thing we've talked about when we talk about amino acids and how important protein is, because guys, those are the building blocks of our enzymes. Yep. And there are multiple pathways, of course, in the liver, but there's other parts of the bodies that are constantly working to detox. Look at even just our skin, right? Just our own mouth, our oral biome, our microbiome in our gut. There's multiple organs involved in detoxification, but enzymes. So just like neurotransmitters and hormones and all the other things, yes, we need our amino acids. Therefore, we need our protein.
Right. And genetically, some of us don't have those enzymes too. So, I mean, that's always something you can do with a genetic test. But unfortunately, it just really makes it so we're not really, I think it's phase 2 it really interferes with. Like, we're really not binding. So if you're not binding, you're not excreting, right? So it stops there, phase 1, and then stops. So always good to know, because I know that I'm a poor detoxer. So I've always been aware and taken supplements to help support my phase 2 detox system. So important to know this stuff. Again, the more you know about your body, the better you can take care of it.
And you can do a genetic test. Pharmacogenomics can actually tell you what type of metabolizer. It can show you, it looks at your cytochrome P450. That's the enzyme, the predominant enzyme system in the liver. And we'll talk about the liver. You cannot have a conversation about detox and not talk about liver. So we will talk about liver a little bit, but you can do that. Like, I know, for instance, I'm a slow metabolizer of caffeine. Therefore, caffeine after 11 a.m. is a problem for me, and I don't need a lot of caffeine. So it's an interesting thing, and it would be helpful information for those of you out there that want to know that stuff.
Right. Yeah. And it also, when you research this stuff, it talks a lot about alcohol. So you'll see why some people when consuming the same amount of alcohol, some people might get drunk while others don't. And it has to do with the enzymes.
It does.
Our ability to detox.
And that's an interesting one too. It's a good example, just to give you guys an example of how that works. So, like, for people that are chronic alcohol drinkers, consumers, the enzymes in the liver there actually are induced. So it's called enzyme induction. Your body will make more enzymes to improve the metabolism of the alcohol. So therefore that's tolerance. So you go from having 2 drinks, you drink 2 drinks every day. Next thing it's 3 drinks, 4 drinks, 5 drinks, 6 drinks, not even buzzed. This is the problem, right? And this is an issue. So, and of course the size of your liver increases, it stores things and it gets fatty liver and it leads to eventually bad things like hepatitis. But
sure.
That's kind of the idea of the enzyme. It's there to break down, but it's also competing. Things compete with the enzymes. So you got to be real careful with it. You need to be pretty aware of the things like that and how to reduce the toxin load. Like if you're taking Tylenol and alcohol, you're competing for enzymatic degradation. So, you're going to end up not feeling your best because you have some more of that acetaldehyde building up. That's a good example because alcohol is such an enzyme heavy breakdown process and it's pretty toxic. That's why we got to be super careful about that as well. But it's like that for a lot of environmental toxins.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So again, we're detoxers. So why do we need to support our detox pathways? I mean, when in good health, like I said, our body's ability to filter and eliminate toxins is great. It's maintained as long as our organ systems are doing what they're supposed to do, like we're detoxing properly. But unfortunately, most of us are not healthy. Like we've made that very clear.
Yeah.
And also we live in a toxic world. So, I mean, even if you are doing everything that you can control, there are so many toxins out there that we cannot control. I mean, from, what we drink to the air we breathe, to the materials we come in contact. I mean, you might be able to control your little bubble of your home, but like we're not sitting in our homes 24/7. We're in shopping areas, we're in grocery stores, we're in other people's homes. I mean,
stuck in traffic.
Right. All that stuff. Your windows are down. I mean, we're getting toxins every single day, 24/7, no matter how careful we are. So we have to be extra careful to not overdo that toxic burden, right? And then we become sick. So our toxic lifestyle leads to the toxic overload. And again, when that happens, our bodies cannot remove the toxins, then we get sick.
Mm-hmm.
So many different kinds of things that we feel when we can have that toxic overload. I mean, allergies, food intolerances, digestive issues, bloating, gas, skin problems, acne, hormonal issues, brain fog, consistent weight gain. I mean, the list goes on.
It does.
There's so many things that you're wondering what's wrong with me. And it might just be like, you're full of toxins. So it's important to, support our system. So we talk about how to avoid detox diets and detox naturally, because there are so many detox diets and cleanses and whatnot out there on the market. And there's not much, there's very little studies, and the studies have been small or flawed. So they might be present, but I mean, they're not really accurate studies. A lot of things that these detox diets can do, I mean, they can lead to further dehydration. They're depleting your body of nutrients. You get metabolic acidosis. What are some other things that happen? A lot of times, like say you're doing any kind, cleanse, fat, a long-term fast, and your goal is to remove the toxins. So what happens during those, really where you're not consuming foods, or much at all. So maybe like that liquid diet or the juices that you do for 7 days, you have fast fat loss. If you've ever done one, you'll notice that you lose weight pretty quick. I know a lot of it's water weight, but what's happening too is your fat is breaking down very fast. And where are toxins stored, Ryan?
Your fat,
toxins
for the most part. Yeah, it's fat soluble. Predominantly, fat stores a lot of it.
Yeah, predominantly toxins are stored in our fat cells. So think about it as if you have this quick fat loss, you also have this quick release of, or a big release of toxins. Now these toxins are circulating in our bloodstream where we definitely don't want them. And yes, our natural detox systems are there, but it's too much. We don't have enough. It's not good enough to bind to all of these toxins and excrete them. So then they're left circulating in our bloodstream. So you need to be careful with that. I'm really not a proponent of it. Maybe a short-term one, a day, you do a lot of flushing out for juices or just water. But again, the long-term ones, this can have detrimental effects on our toxic burden, again, where we're not able to properly eliminate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are other ways to detox? Actually, let's talk about ways to detox naturally. So we talked about we talked about sweating,
right?
Really. Breathing, you talked about, you can go into that in a second, but exercising regularly.
Sure.
That also does two of the things that we just talked about,
Right.
the sweating and the breathing.
Increases blood perfusion too, right? So higher heart rate, higher blood flow.
Right. Yep. Everything.
More hepatic circulation through your liver, faster filtration, basically increase through your kidney. There's a lot of things happening under exercise.
Right.
You know?
So like when we tell you to exercise and move your body, like we're not just talking about for your physique, right?
Yeah,
There's
not always, for sure.
It's so important in so many other ways. And just think of like your physique and is a bonus, right? But really what it's doing internally is so much better for you. What else? Getting enough sleep.
Sure.
Staying properly hydrated.
Yep.
The sauna, which is great for the sweat. Limit or avoid alcohol, avoid smoking, avoid eating processed foods. You said breathing and breath work, increase urine output. That also comes with properly hydrated,
Yep.
right? These all work together. We said sleep. Which one am I forgetting? Oh, and obviously supplements, just things that can support our system.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not necessarily talking about, and we'll get into this guy, but I'm not necessarily talking about like the strong detox supplements that actually can also bind to other things.
Well, nor are you talking about liver support, which is something in our future. So
Sure.
There's a lot of things that can support the liver and the
Right.
metabolic pathway. So that's not what we're talking about today, but that is something for the future as well. Hydration is an important one, but like I always love this saying. So the solution to pollution is dilution.
Okay.
So that's a fun one, right?
It's cute. All right, talk about the breath work.
No, it's not anything specific. So I don't want to give exact specific like things on breath work, but like you can look at Wim Hof method, you can look at different meditative practices, different trends. Like there's ways to improve the breath and the respiration, and you actually do breathe out metabolites, and it's a real thing. So you can look up, even if you want to just look up the Wim Hof, but you can do like an aggressive inhale and then a natural exhale. Aggressive inhale, natural exhale. Like there's just different breath, and there's different patterns, like there's the, but anyway, from a free diving perspective, you can work on your CO2 or your O2 pathways. And it does a lot for the oxygenation and the detox through breath.
Right.
It's effective.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And it's good for the brain and then many other things. So start doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, they're easy things that can be done on a daily basis that also have other health benefits.
Battery saver.
So what?
So the battery saver's on. I'll be right back. I got to plug in.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we talked about, so impaired detox side effects. I went through and named some of these, but again, if you have a toxic burden and you're not detoxing properly, you might have allergies, food intolerances, or those food sensitivities, digestive issues we talked about, skin problems, acne. A lot of times if, someone talks about acne, we think it's all hormonal. It's not necessarily always hormonal, right? Our skin is our biggest detox organ. Got it?
Yep.
So a lot of times, the toxins are trying to come out and we get acne and skin problems, the weight gain, the brain fog. So we have to look at all aspects of this. And, you can't just, like Ryan was talking about too, with like needing the amino acids and our protein, like you actually have to cover all your bases. And that's a lot of us, like if you have never checked out our website too, this is your first time joining, but you'll see like we have so many different things on there and they really are designed to be taken, most of them designed to be taken every day because each thing supports something in your body, right? These are not medications. These are nutritional supplements, right? They really help supplement a healthy diet to, keep our body its healthiest.
Yeah, but there are medications though, right? Like if you actually had a true like overload of toxins, like say heavy metal poisoning, of course there's prescription. Hospital will put you on some heavy chelation therapy and bind everything they can, get it out of your system.
There's chelation IVs.
Yeah,
and
chelation
stuff like
IVs and different ways to do that. So that's one particular way. That's not what we're talking about today, of course.
Right. I mean, that's obviously if you go and you get your blood tested and you have like these crazy high levels of metals, I mean, mold, whatever it is, to go and do chelation therapy to really help draw these out. And because the reason you don't want to do those just because or take, chelation pills or because they're taking all your minerals as well. Right. So it is. It doesn't discriminate what it's gonna bind to and take away, but you need to do that. So it's just not something you want to do on a regular basis.
Okay.
Same thing with like charcoal. Charcoal can
But
more healthy stuff.
You'll also hear us talk today about absorbent and absorbent properties of zeolite, which is in our detox product. So we'll talk about that as well.
Well, while we're going there.
Well, so we talked about the drug therapy if you had high burden and you knew it and you were diagnosed with something, or there was a poisoning or some event happened. We talked about the cleanses and the fast, like the ways to do that and how we don't really support that. That's not something that we're really behind. But there's also other types of detoxes. When you hear the word detox, things come to mind. There's actually this new kind of concept of a dopamine detox. We're constantly firing on releasing dopamine. It's the feel good, the reward center of the brain. That's happening for all different reasons. Substance abuse, of course, is one. There's a lot of reliance on drugs now, like, the amphetamines and different meds for that. But social media is another one. There's actually a whole process now where you can detox off social media. I mean, you can just imagine the different ways that we're just getting so inundated by substance. I'm just call it substance, whether it's digital, whether it's real, whether it's chemical, whatever, right? So, but I don't know. I just want to kind of talk about that real quick, because the word detox just kind of conjures up different thoughts for different people.
Yeah, and before we go into our product too, let's talk about like methods of detoxing, or like where a lot of our toxins lie in our environment. So some methods of detox are obviously avoiding of toxins, but I mean, like I already talked about, unless you're living in a bubble, that's next to impossible. But we eliminate as much as we can. So you need to be aware of where they reside. Watch for molds. We talk about our coffee.
Hard to do. Yeah, coffee's a good example.
Why you really need to be
mycotoxins.
Right. You really need to be purchasing organic coffee and know your source, because there's certain things that are prevalent for mold. I mean, even like the peanut, pistachios. So you just have to be careful with the things that you're putting into your body. But also we talk about environmental molds. I mean, we live in South Florida. Our environment is extremely hot and humid. We've had mold problems at our home. I've talked about my issue and how it's taken me a couple years to rid the mold of my body. But again, this is a home that Ryan's in as well as my children, but it affected me. My body didn't detox properly. So
funny question from Terry G here, but it's not funny. It's will this help me detox to remove smelly armpit? Terry, that's actually yes. That's a yes on that. So you'll read about chlorophyll and zeolite used zeolite too as a deodorizer.
Right.
Yeah, big time.
Metals and fish are water
that's another one.
Polluted. I mean, our fish are carrying more metals.
Watch for the big open pelagic fish. Your tunas, your mackerels, swordfish. Some of the deep water bottom fish or tilefish could be high in PCBs as well, polychlorinated biphenyls. Like there's a lot of stuff that you need to be aware of. Even if you're eating a lot of snapper or whitefish, you still need to be aware.
Right, where we used to be told that it was okay. Now it's like you shouldn't be eating those.
That's when you eat your anchovies and your sardines.
Right, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're not as tasty.
Right, it's my least favorite, but I know how important it is. What else? I mean, we talked about the organic coffee, but also like the organic foods and the glyphosates. I mean, very, very big toxins. The air we breathe, the water we drink. I mean, everything is just becoming more and more toxic in our world, and we're only getting older, so we're becoming more detoxers.
Exactly, less able to get rid of it, and we're getting more exposure. So over time, it builds. Right. That's another thing about toxin overload. It sucks. Is it does just build. Yes. It accumulates.
All right.
So all right, cool.
Let's go to the shining star. Okay, so we have our newest product launch, which is very exciting.
Awesome.
We did have 2 launches back to back, but this is our chlorophyll and zeolite detox. So because Dr. Ryan is our formulator, I'm going to let him dive in about it, and I'm just going to kind of give you a look on what it looks like, because I think it's so pretty in the water. So a serving would be 2. There we go. Okay, so first off, before I start, I'm just going to give this wonderful news. This is for members $14.95, for non-members $19.95. I mean, absolutely crazy, ridiculous price of something that is so healthy and beneficial to us.
Smell it.
Yes, someone actually
natural
asked a question about it. I was trying to think of how to describe the taste. I mean, it has this natural earthy taste.
Natural, earthy, a little sweet.
Nothing is overpowering. And to be honest, I found my new favorite combination is our hydration amplifier mixed with 2 squirts in the morning. I just love the flavor combination of it too. I don't know, it really balances it all out to me. And I like it. So
for sure. So chlorophyll, as we all probably know from science class, if you remember, chlorophyll is the green pigment, right? It's the pigment in plants that conduct photosynthesis. It's actually related to the heme in our blood cells because of blood, the red color. But yeah, powerful stuff. I mean, it is a powerful plant compound. A lot of benefits to it. Can increase the oxygenation. It helps with detox pathways. It can help with binding. It can help with these unique issues. But chlorophyll has very little side effect issues. It's very well tolerated. It's very safe. And obviously, we're not consuming enough. So great addition to our detox product. I think the star player, I love chlorophyll, but I think the star is the zeolite. If you watch some of these companies now, there's big companies dedicated to sort of detox. What's the one? We don't have to talk about the name. They are using zeolite in everything they recommend. And zeolite's kind of cool. It's got a 3D structure. It has a lot of adsorption and absorption properties. So there's 2 differences there, but basically due to the unique porous structure of the zeolite, it's a naturally occurring compound. Syneptatalite, something, I may have pronounced that wrong. I have to look at the spelling again. It is a natural zeolite. There's a bunch of zeolites out there. I think there's 100 maybe there's 140, 150 natural. Then there's a bunch of synthetic zeolites. We use the natural form, and it's well studied. It is actually really well studied. Cuba is a place where you can harvest zeolite, and they have 2 different drugs. They were used as antidiarrheal and an antacid due to some of the neutralizing properties and the absorption properties of it. So yeah, very absorbed, very, very interesting. But in those studies along their drug development pathways, it was shown to specifically bind to some of these protozoas, which are, the things that are often responsible for diarrheal infections, big time diarrhea. So that's what they really looking at. Certain, of course, toxins, of course, metals, specifically lead, binds to really easily and readily. We talked about ochratoxin, which is a big one in coffee. And of course, organophosphate. So, those chemical compounds we talk about in pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers, right. Very, very, very well known for adsorbing to those, and of course can increase the excretion, right, out through the feces usually. So they don't absorb very well. This is not like a blood detox. Of course, through the body works, the way it works in homeostasis and the way that the liver is always trying to do. The liver is detecting obviously many, many, many compounds at all times of the day. And it just simply wants to get rid of it. It wants to break it down into something that's more soluble, more water soluble, so the kidney can eliminate it. So it's always trying to break it down and reduce it down into a way that the kidney can easily process. So if there's some level of metal in the blood and the body's trying to get it moved out, there's different things that it's doing to where it will eventually get excreted as long as you're not constantly adding to it. Right. But it's the gut lining, it's the gut health, it's the GI tract. It means those areas. If you're drinking, if you're eating highly processed foods, if you've just had a binger of something, whatever it is, you can use this product to help you support those things along the way. It is not just, it's indiscriminatory, so it doesn't necessarily know what it's doing. But the cool thing is the science behind zeolite has been demonstrated to not negatively impact our microbiome in any way. And it actually has been shown to benefit it. So
can it be taken with other vitamins?
Yeah, it doesn't alter the pH. And the issue, there's your issue though. Your issue is, well, what about the other vitamins and minerals? That's why I said let's avoid magnesium, because magnesium has a tendency to chelate or to bind and compete for absorption sites. But that's the case for other stuff too. So it could be trying to bind to some of our trace minerals as well. So yeah, I mean, ideally we don't want to take it together with anything, but that's not always going to be possible. So I like to say on an empty stomach, right before bed, right? So here would be my best case scenario. You would eat dinner 2 hours prior to bedtime. Mm-hmm. 1 hour later, you're going to take your magnesium, and then right before bed, you're dropping it in under the tongue or in the mouth. I know it's hard to brush out the green, but you got to tongue scrape, whatever you got to do, get it off the tongue, get it out of the mouth, clean your mouth, go to bed, wake up, and then you can use it again first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. If you're taking medicines like Synthroid, I would definitely not mess with it in the morning along your Synthroid or your thyroid medications. Gotcha. I think methotrexate's another one. It's one that you would want to avoid. There's not many. Zeolite, it's pretty well tolerated. Chlorophyll for sure is well tolerated. But yeah, I mean, you can look it up. You can Google it. I can also help you along the way. I have access to, drug databases that can tell us about drug interactions as
and we
well.
were talking about this morning that there's zeolite is being used in our water to
Yeah,
help
it's
remove
used.
the
Yeah,
toxins.
exactly. It's used in our water purification systems. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it's super. I mean, it's great. It's exciting. It's fun. I mean, it's a neat idea. It's a great concept, and I think it's from a dietary. It's no different than just having decent dietary habits.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. I mean, and like Ryan had mentioned, we have the chlorella, the high in iron, B12. I mean, it is touted as a superfood, right? Superfood is just a term there to describe something that's very nutrient dense.
Yep.
It has your omegas, it has all 9 essential amino acids. And also, you mentioned about the increasing oxygen saturation. So I've always used chlorella when I was going to travel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're using it for travel.
I meant
definitely.
chlorophyll. Sorry,
Chlorophyll.
But
we use it for travel.
Because, like when you're going, like if we're going out west, going to altitude, that was when I was always loading up to help with the oxygen.
Absolutely. I mean, no, it's well documented for that reason. Altitude sickness, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
many benefits, guys. So I hope you guys got a lot out of this today. It was just kind of cruising down here. I haven't seen many really a lot of questions. So a lot more to do with, go ahead.
Well, I know one of them was age. So what I want to tell you guys when it comes to age, and I hate having to really say this, but it goes the same for like if you're a minor, so under 18, if you're pregnant, breastfeeding, I mean, we have to say, please discuss this with either your child's pediatrician or your OBGYN. But we feel that this is safe. I mean, personally, for our children, we let them have it. Obviously, they don't need as high of a dose. But I mean, their exposure to toxins is similar to what we do. I would say even worse because there's so many things that I'm not there to control what goes into my children's mouth. Like if they get something at school, which pains me because we pack their lunches, but you just, their exposure is pretty high.
Sure.
So I have the age one. We kind of tried to describe the taste. I did have the taste question. It does, how Ryan mentioned the green, it does stain. Not like a methylene blue. It brushes out of your mouth pretty easily. But like if you get it on the counter, you want to wipe it up right away. We have a wood cutting board, so there's a couple green spots on it just from us leaving it there, not paying too much attention. So you just want to be careful. And I saw the question on there about the serving. Yes, it's on the website as well on the label, but 2 squirts is a serving. So, you could do first thing in the morning and first thing before you go to bed.
That 2 to 4 dropperfuls. It is marked. The dropper is marked, but you can't see it because it's green. dark green. So 2 to 4. I would use 4. I'm doing 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening.
Right.
And if you don't want to, if you're super clean and you feel like you just don't need, you don't have to use it every single day. You just kind of use it as you believe there's exposures. Maybe you went out for sushi. That would be a great time.
Right. But there's also think about it. Anytime that you're eating out, guys, unfortunately, you're getting some type of toxins in you. Like it's impossible. Even if it's from our, the seed oils that are used and at high heat and stuff. So if you're someone that eats out regularly, guys, I highly recommend using this on a regular basis. I use it every night. That's my program. Another question, just lost it. Oh, does it make you go to the bathroom? No, there's no known obvious side effects or anything that goes on with it. So really easy addition and beneficial.
But addition. I did tell you the zeolite was studied and used as a drug in Cuba as an anti-diarrheal and acid.
Okay, so could help if something negative was going on.
Yeah, it could help if you
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of it. Just some of the questions that I didn't answer yet through my email. But again, guys, check out our website, livegood.com. You'll see it on there. You can read more about it. Any questions on there?
Yeah, there's a couple. We can just cover it again because I thought it was important. But Brooke just said she just joined. She said, can the kids take it? Currently taking the Touchstone Essentials. First of all, the kids multivitamin gummy that we have, that LiveGood has, USDA certified organic. That is the gummy you should absolutely be using. It is an amazing gummy, better than anything I've seen on the market. And yes, like Lisa and I just kind of said, we, in full disclosure, for liability reasons, can't tell you to have kids under minors or pregnant and breastfeeding people take it. So consult with your pediatrician. Our children, of course, will use chlorophyll and zeolite. They've been using it and they're just fine. So cool. All right, awesome.
Yeah, someone's just saying, will it help with eczema? I mean, if the skin irritation is the cause of toxins,
Sure.
but there's other causes of eczema. It could be, autoimmune issues going on. But, regardless, if you have something going on, it's worth addressing your toxins. I mean, again, we're toxic individuals, so
you don't get hurt, right? Like it's just another awesome little tool to have, you know, in your chest that can, from a dietary perspective, guys.
Ryan talked about the cleansing of the blood, blood pressure medication. You had said really it's only the thyroid one that you're concerned with.
I'm concerned with thyroid and methotrexate.
Right. We had okay. Besides other supplements, what other supplements can you take this with? Is that
well, yeah, and I get that it's confusing. I give you guys these pro tips just as a way to say if you really want to dial it in as best as possible, but you don't have to be so strict about it.
I mean, I'm telling you, when I take mine, I probably take my magnesium 20 minutes later. I don't have much time between when I start my bedtime routine and when I hit the sack. So you can just do the best you can. It's not like one cancels it out completely. Just do the best you can.
Right. Okay. All right. Awesome.
Any other questions, guys? You always have my email, lisa@livegood.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. And make sure you check out our newest product, Detox, Chlorophyll, and Zeolite at livegood.com. Like, subscribe, follow us, comment. We love it all and appreciate you. And until next Monday.
Yeah. See you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.